at the center of it all, our earth element, our digestive system, and therefore our ability to be self-loving is at the center of our health picture in general.
Yeah, 100%. If we could love ourselves, then I think we would figure all the things that we needed to for health.
Welcome to Mother Nature's Doctor, the podcast where ancient wisdom meets modern wellness. Hosted by Dr. April Schulte, a specialist in Chinese medicine, this show explores the power of nature as the ultimate healer. Each week, Dr. Schulte dives into a new health topic, revealing how holistic practices, herbal medicine, and time-tested natural remedies can help you live a healthier, more balanced life. Get ready to nourish your body, calm your mind, and reconnect with the wisdom of Mother Nature.
Welcome to the Mother Nature's Doctor podcast. My name is Dr. April Schulte, and I am a doctor of acupuncture and oriental medicine. After having been in practice for 20 years and having seen thousands of clients, addressing each of their unique and individual health journeys, I decided to start Mother Nature's Doctor and its podcast to have a broader reach in empowering people, just like you, to come to know your truest healing potential. My deepest passion is to show you can live your most fulfilling life utilizing your body's innate ability to heal with the help of Mother Nature herself. And now I'd love to welcome my guest and dear friend of mine, Nicole Fuller. Nicole Fuller is a clinical registered dietitian, and I'm so happy to have you as my first guest.
Thank you for having me
on the Mother Nature's Doctor podcast. We were so excited about this opportunity to kind of bring together our ideas around our work together with our clients. Tell us a little bit about what it means to have your credentials and what your passions are.
Oh, good question. So I am an intuitive eating dietitian, and being a dietitian in general means that we actually had to do all the work to teach you about nutrition. Not that other people don't do work, but meaning I had to go to school and actually get a degree in nutrition, had to do an internship in which I had to do like 1,500 hours. And then I had to pass a big test like doctors and nurses have to pass and like you had to pass. So definitely have the education behind it. Intuitive eating dietitians are more focused on how we eat as a human versus how the outside world tells us to eat.
When I think about intuition, I tend to think about what is my body asking for in that moment, whether I'm thinking about what to eat, but maybe it's even, does my body want a bath? Does my body want exercise? Does my body want rest? Do I want to hike? And so I'm guessing that's similar to what we're thinking about with intuitive eating.
Yeah, so it does. I mean, yeah, in every way, I think it matters. I think with intuitive eating and the body with eating, we don't actually pay attention to it at all because the outside world tells us not to do it. So, for instance, we don't take a second guess about breathing. We don't take a second guess about having to go to the bathroom. We don't try to convince ourselves, no, I don't actually have to pee. Like I just peed 5 minutes ago. But because we live in a world that has diet culture and all of these different people telling us that we need to mold and shape our body into different ways, we completely ignore the intuition around food and what we would want and when we're hungry and when we're full. So it's very hard to pay attention to it when we've been told from childhood, essentially, that we shouldn't listen to it.
So our intuition actually can move deeper into what does my body to look like, or what does my health picture look like? And that certainly is different for everyone. In traditional Chinese medicine, one thing I love most about it is that we really focus on the unique and individual needs of each person, that everyone actually is different. We all have different personalities and different body types, different inherent weaknesses, if you will, and inherent strengths. And when we can bring that together, that's when our clients can actually find true health. And it's definitely my biggest passion to help people see that they are different and that we can use Mother Nature and our innate ability to heal ourselves by learning to tap into that intuition. One of the most common complaints I get in my practice is people who are experiencing digestive distress. And then quite often right after that are complaints about their weight. And wondering for you, what that means, let's say you have, I don't know, 10 different people come in and their biggest thing is to lose weight. What would you tell them?
Ask them why. Why do we want to lose weight? And the answer that's accepted by society is because I want to be healthy. And then my question is, does being small mean being healthy? And they don't know. They think so, but they're not quite sure. And so then I'm like, well, let's deep dive into that. Why do we really, what does health mean? Let's look at your whole health picture. What is it? And like, what do your labs look like? What does your movement look like? What does your nutrition look like? What is your relationships like? And when we get done, the only thing that doesn't have a box checked most of the time is I'm not in a size body that I deem appropriate, which has nothing to do with health really. So it is an individual, deep-seated, rooted issue about why they feel that way. And like you're saying, they're all individuals. We can't just be like, just go on this X, Y, and Z diet and you'll feel fine. There's a big emotional component to why people are not happy with their weight. And it's almost never about their body.
I love that you brought up emotions.
Yeah.
And again, in traditional Chinese medicine, we can actually associate each emotion with different organ systems. And with the digestive system in Chinese medicine, we call it the earth element. The flavor that actually enhances or strengthens, we use the word tonify, that tonifies the earth element in our digestion is the sweet flavor. And it's so interesting because lots of clients complain to me about sweet cravings and sugar cravings. And I love to educate them that that could be because your digestive system itself is weakened. And we get a little bit confused. The sweet flavor actually does strengthen the earth element. So things like oats and rice and sweet potato and other complex carbohydrates actually strengthen the earth element in the digestive system. But we get confused and think that means like cake and cookies and candy and things with sugar in it. Things with sugar. And that's one thing to consider. But even deeper than that is that when we lack self-love, then that actually weakens the earth element in the digestive system.
Ooh.
And so what is your experience with self-love specifically?
Oh my gosh, that's a really good question. So self-love is missing most of the time with my patients. They do everything for everyone else and never for themselves. They're these great and wonderful caregivers. But when I ask them, why aren't you worthy of that? They just say, we don't know. We're just not worthy of being able to take care of self. And so then we talk about how that gets projected onto body image a lot too. So I just don't love myself. And then that gets projected onto, I don't love the way I look, and how all of that can go from that body image isn't a body issue, but a brain issue, because we're actually, we can love ourselves in any body. And so the self-love part often gets projected onto the physical self, not just the emotional parts, which is interesting.
It is really interesting that we can be self-loving, which is what we're talking about. And in order to be self-loving, we have a sense of self-worth. So we also are worth some attention, and we often correlate attention with love.
Yeah.
Right. And so we can give ourselves attention to cultivate that self-love and then therefore strengthen our digestive systems, which interestingly enough improves metabolism.
Right. I hear, yeah.
And when we improve our digestive systems, of course, then we're able to assimilate nutrients better. And then from there comes energy. From there comes serotonin and some feel-good hormones, and it actually helps support our sex hormones.
Yeah, it'd be great.
So we start to see how at the center of it all, our earth element, our digestive system, and therefore our ability to be self-loving is at the center of our health picture in general.
Yeah, 100%. If we could love ourselves, then I think we would figure all the things that we needed to for health.
So a big trend right now is some of those weight loss medications that, are shown to help people lose weight. And have you had a lot of experience with clients utilizing these drugs yet?
Yes, mostly the ones that come to me after they didn't work is where I usually fall, because They tried that before they tried me a lot of times because it feels easier, I think. Not that anyone's trying to take the easy road out. I think it's just more advertised. It's more in their face.
Yeah, the advertisements certainly paint a rosy picture
Yeah.
for what it could be like to utilize those drugs. Um, but a lot of times how these people are losing weight is they're actually, in a sense, paralyzing their GI tract. And so with that sort of paralysis, of course, we're going to lose weight, but we're going to be losing a lot of muscle. And from there, likely not going to be feeling well. And really would like to help people understand that it may seem like an easier thing to do at first because it's challenging to take time to understand why we don't love ourselves.
Yeah, right.
It certainly is asking a lot of us to often go way back into childhood and look at our relationships then and see how that correlates with our relationship with ourselves as adults.
Yeah.
So it certainly does take a lot of work and to understand what it means to have that intuitive side of ourselves that you are working on cultivating with your clients.
Yeah.
And it's super inspiring, your work, because when we are able to do that, and I've seen it time and time again with my clients, when they are actually able to take a step back and see that our emotions are tied to our physical health, and then do the work around finding that self-love, that self-worth, then it actually is the shorter route. Because now, instead of having to sort of go around the main issues and try to skirt them to reach our destination, which is very long. It's actually longer to go all the way around that and then not get where you want, and then have to go all the way back to the very beginning and then face the storm.
Yeah.
Whereas if we just know that and have trust and faith that we have that true power within us to just sort of delve through the storm from the beginning, that's where we win. That's where we win.
I mean, you helped me do that, by the way.
I did.
Yes, you did. You helped me when I was pregnant to be like, it's okay. We don't have to we need to get into these emotions behind why we're so worried about how the pregnancy's going to go. And once I could actually get into the emotions, it felt like I didn't need to do all the other meds and stuff out there that we were talking about at that time. You were like, just give me 3 months. Let's just try and get to the root of why this is hard. And I think you really helped me understand that my emotions were such a big part of why I couldn't quite get where I wanted with pregnancy. And then I got pregnant. So thanks.
You certainly did. And you have a beautiful family.
Hey, thank you.
And it's been an honor to be a part of that process, and makes it even more special that now we get to work together professionally and share clients.
Yeah.
I certainly am loving that. When I think about people like you who are willing to sort of step back and take that chance, what do you think it is that sort of helped you decide, you know what, I am going to sort of block out all the messages coming from the outside world, because we are certainly bombarded by them on billboards and in ads and on TV and now on the internet. It's especially prevalent. What allowed you to sort of, okay, I'm going to just sort of step back and take this approach and try to block everything else out?
I think the intuitive nature of what you were telling me to do made sense. I was like, okay, I could go on these meds and try to stimulate hormones to get pregnant. And there's all these things that make me feel like side effects seemed dangerous. And it just felt more peaceful and calm to just take a minute and try something that's not almost being screamed into my face by everyone in society, right? I felt like that was a big thing. And like we were talking about almost predatory marketing with stuff like that. I was just like,
That's a great term. I hadn't heard that, but it really speaks to the heart of it.
it is. I mean, as I have a marketing degree, and they talked about predatory marketing and how, to me, it's almost unethical, especially in terms of meds and things. And I'm not saying there's not a time and place for meds, but it is screamed in your face. It's not like something as wonderful as what you guys do is screamed in her face, and you don't want to. You want people to want this, and having people have this calm and peaceful air about it makes it feel just like it could be nice to just calm down for a minute, take a beat, at least try something different, get all of my parts together. My behavioral health part, my acupuncture part, the body more efficient, get some massage, relax, do all the things that you guys do here, so that I could actually at least have a clear mind. Like if it hadn't worked after 3 months, which it did, then I'm like, well, then I can actually think, do I want to do that? But I felt at that time I was so dysregulated that I couldn't even.
A lot of times when we take the time for this approach, and we start to see how we can truly bring together the mind, body, and spirit, then we discover other health benefits. And so what's fun for me when I'm working with a client, let's say their chief complaint is something like Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis or acid reflux. Um, and as those symptoms are getting better, they'll find they have increased energy and even better relationships. And it's so fun to watch that process. It's one of my favorite things to see people sort of have these light bulb moments as they're going along their healing journeys. And it's an unexpected surprise, I think, when people are able to take time to allow their nervous system to sort of just relax a little bit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's where healing happens.
100%. I think when you're so dysregulated, there can't be logical thought. And I think if nothing else, like having the time to like just calm the nervous system down, which I feel like is what happened when I started utilizing all of the services that you guys have here, that I was able to just like, okay, I feel like myself again, if that makes sense. I felt like it was a total stress ball situation.
Yes, and you're talking about Healing Horizons, which I've owned now for 20 years. Healing Horizons Integrated Health Solutions, and wow, what an honor it's been to serve you and so many other people. And then, like I said, to have you come back and serve us is just brings everything full circle. But the approach really is addressing our behavioral health with other, like each and every aspect of our physical health.
Yeah.
So when we actually take time to understand, because we are really focusing on digestion, that even the digestive tract isn't isolated by itself.
Right.
That other organ systems help support the digestive system. And then with a weak digestive system, maybe other organs aren't as supported. And we
Yeah.
really start to see like this whole health picture come into
Totally.
play.
Yeah, I think that's where we get it wrong in Western medicine. It's just this one thing that we're focusing on. We're just this one thing. And we all have our own, like, I don't know, side of the street, I guess, essentially. And so when I work in a hospital and I have this adorable doctor, I'm not going to say his name, but he's adorable. He reminds me of Doogie Howser. He's just this young guy. And he runs out of a patient's room and he goes, this patient has diverticulitis and I don't know what to tell them what to eat. And I'm like, it's okay, buddy. I got you. But like, he's this amazingly intelligent person but just doesn't have the education of nutrition, right? And then I don't have his education. And then we don't know like any of these other pieces and parts. And so when I started with nutrition and I was sitting down with people and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is only like maybe a third about food. Maybe. And I'm like,
Right.
this is really actually about your emotional health, like how you grew up as a kid, like your habits that you're not addressing, like all of these things. So there's that behavioral health part that you're talking about. But then there is also like the part where you come in with like working with all the different organ systems. But we're like, if there's a problem like diverticulitis, everyone's like, we're just only focusing on the digestive tract, like that's it, or just the food. When in reality, we have to look at every single thing or they're not going to get better. And it can feel like it takes a really long time to patients. Like we kind of were saying, like, this feels like it takes forever. But once we get there, it's like easy for them to know how to make it right in the moment. So I feel like when there's a med, it's like the med makes it right, the med makes it right. But when they learn how to actually look at themselves and go, oh, I'm actually not addressing this issue in my life. Once I do that, I feel like my gut will feel better. And I don't know how that works in Chinese medicine. Like when they actually come to fruition with the things they need to sort out emotionally or behaviorally in their life, if their organ systems are better nourished with that. Like, I don't know how that part
That's a
works.
great question. Actually, yes, indeed. When I think about things like medications or even in natural medicine, we do have tools that are not pharmaceutically based that can temporarily sort of quell the symptoms, because when we're miserable, we're not going to be wanting to take the time to do the work underneath that. When we're really symptomatic and feeling pretty terrible and low energy, we literally don't have the chi, if you will, to look and dig deep and find the deeper reasons we want to go forward on a healing journey that's all encompassing. And so it's helpful to have those stopgaps, whether it's a medication or an herb or certain protocols that we can use. Let's say we're talking about specifically about acid reflux. it's pretty miserable time if you're feeling burning acid, coming up your chest. Yeah, it's a little tough.
Okay.
And we can certainly look at the musculoskeletal reasons for that and do all the work. But in the meantime, if we can just sort of calm that down, that actually creates space for healing.
Yeah.
And so when we're not as symptomatic and we're not as acutely in suffering, then we can go deeper and really focus on, say, in Chinese medicine, the kidneys, if you will, which in Chinese medicine, when we talk about organ systems, it doesn't directly correlate with organ systems in Western medicine. But the Chinese medicine kidneys are the root source of energy, qi, vigor for life, if you will. And it's literally the fire that sits underneath the cauldron of the digestive tract. If you're thinking about the digestive system as the pot on the stove and the gas stove, the fire underneath it is the kidney energy. So without the fire, we're not going to be cooking much. Okay. So we want to stoke that fire. And how we can do that is by looking at our behaviors quite often, because that fire will die down if we're burning the candle at both ends, if we don't appreciate the value of rest. The yin yang symbol really does a great job of explaining how yin and yang energy are to be even and balanced in the body. And yin supports yang and yang supports yin. And the yin is the nighttime, it's winter time, it's the darkness, it's female energy, it's very nourishing. In the body, it's things like the myelin sheath around the nerve or synovial fluid or things estrogen does in the body. Whereas yang energy is up, it's daytime, it's functionality, it's qi, it's male energy. And we want them even in the body. In our society, we tend not to nourish yin. Oh, in the wintertime, man, we're out running around and celebrating and flying across the world and still working very hard, well long after the sun has set.
Yeah.
And that's part of this whole intuition thing too. Does my body want rest or does my body want activity?
Oh, totally. Well, and I think I just was thinking when you were talking, with diet culture, what I'm seeing is that they're like, you need to get your summer body. It's time to get the summer body. So what they're cultivating is we need to be working our butts off from January to April to get your summer bodies. And what you're saying is that sort of inverse to what our bodies need. We need it to be our rest time. And then in the summer, we can be crazy and do all the things. But we're really teaching people the inverse of what needs to happen in order for them to be in alignment with, I guess, homeostasis, it sounds like.
Right, exactly. Such a good point. Societally, when we take that approach, you were mentioning, well, better get my summer body on from January through April, and we're not resting, we're actually so inefficient. It's extremely inefficient. It's not the time. It's actually the time. Think about what the earth is offering. What is Mother Nature herself doing? She's dormant. In the fall, we harvested the fruits of the labor from spring and summer, and then the leaves fall off and everything's pretty brown and dormant for a while because nature herself is resting and rejuvenating and collecting. And as humans, we can start to think about, okay, what seeds do I want to cultivate in the springtime when it's naturally, the time to kind of come out and grow again. And so when we go against Mother Nature's direction, then our health actually suffers.
Totally. I think something can be said for yin doesn't mean lazy. And I think that's what they think it means. If I'm resting, I'm lazy. I'm not getting anything done. But I wonder if in reality, if they actually saw rest as something that is getting something done.
Yes, indeed.
Then they would actually feel like they had enough energy to get their summer body, if that's their goal, when it came time. Maybe it would be less, just far less hard to do that.
Yes, such a good point. Absolutely. Resting is certainly something that is to be done. If it helps to put it on your to-do list and check it off, go ahead, write it down.
Yeah.
Maybe put it even at the very top, especially in the winter months, and then when we are able to live life to its fullest during the summer, when the sun is out more and we are naturally out playing more and even working more in the summer, then you have the qi to do it. You have the qi to do it, and your health certainly will follow.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see an experiment, right? One summer you just relax and get all the energy back that you need by resting and see if you're more effective in the summertime.
Yes,
I think people would be.
I think that's actually a great note to sort of wrap up our discussion, because I think that's probably the deepest seed I can plant for our listeners right now is how important it is to rest, because when we do that, then we actually are able to tap into our intuition. Have you found that when people are really tired, it's hard for them to do that? To tap into their intuition
Oh,
more?
100%. Yeah, they definitely need to have, and they need to have their nervous system just more regulated in general. It feels really hard to want to eat intuitively, want to be able to get in their nutrients, want to do the things when they just don't even feel like they can be calm enough to know what to do.
My favorite analogy for the nervous system, and you would think after 20 years of using this analogy, I would remember the name of the little plastic thing at the end of a shoelace.
Oh, I don't know it either. I don't know it either.
So that little plastic thing, when that's around the shoelace is nice and contained. It's really able to do its job. You're able to thread it through your shoes, and it works really well. But when that little plastic piece is gone and the shoelace is frayed, then it looks crazy and it's hard to function, right? It's hard to use it in the shoe. And so when we take time to make sure our nervous system is wrapped up in that yin energy, then efficiency prevails.
Yeah, 100%.
Thank you so much. Do you have any closing thoughts you'd like to share with our audience?
I mean, I just think integration of care is where things should be. And I think advocating for yourself about what you need is the most important thing. So make sure that you have a team of people that can help you, because like I was kind of insinuating, like we don't all know everything, and working together is really where you're going to find the most efficient supportive care.
That's right, because not one of us practitioners can do it all.
Right.
And when we take the time to be our best advocates with our health, and we do take the time to cultivate the team, as you're mentioning, it really makes a world of difference. And then to have the courage to ask your practitioners to work together.
Yeah.
It's a great idea to have your practitioners talk with one another and share perspectives, because that's where efficiency really comes into play.
Yep. Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. I think it's vital.
Yes. Well, Nicole, thank you so much for joining us. And I am so happy to have you. Looking forward to doing it again.
Yeah.
And to continue working together with our clients moving forward.
Yeah. Sound good.
Thank you.